to welcome Aiden Parkins.
Thank you. Good evening. Firstly, I'd like to thank God for this all would not have happened without Him, and where I am in my life is due to Him and His plan for me. And I'd as well as like to thank the Dream Never Dies Foundation, all my friends and family for getting me in this position to share this message with you here today. Persistence, it denotes purpose. It's all a case of perception versus perspective. Today, I stand in front of you, living the dream of a once 6-year-old who dreamed to fly and soar amongst the clouds. I would imagine a lot of you today are looking at me and asking, what does a 20-year-old have to do with knowing about life? Well, tonight, I'm going to take you on a journey to find purpose. And then we can see if age is really a number. I'm going to start off tonight with the origins of my purpose. Brought into the world on September 11th, 2003. I know I'm a pilot in that day. Was a dreamer of a boy by two amazing parents who sit back there. They raised a dreamer, and they showed what determination, what being driven, and how to rise to the occasion. Two of my biggest role models. As well as the most terrifying when news from school reaches home before you. But this quality, Mom, Dad, this quality of persistence, I saw in you first. Today, Mom, Dad, your persistence stands before you with a story of which you know well, from your perspective. Now let me offer my perception. I'm going to start with aviation. It first started for me 11 months old on a red-eye flight. And although this is what I was told, I stayed up the whole time, peering out the window into the midnight sky, thinking, how does this thing work and why are we so far off the ground? I don't remember the day that I deciphered that this was the journey for me. This was the road that I wanted to pursue. What I do remember, though, is that despite my environment, I can remember no point in my youth where I did not think that this was possible for me. That's the passion, the obsession, the pursuit of one's craft beyond imagination. You try telling your Jamaican mother, no, Mom, I prefer to be up at 36,000 feet in a pressurized metal can screaming along at 500 miles per hour. But yet I had this conviction. But yet representation matters. As we all knew, less than 2% of the world's pilots are black. I didn't see a black pilot until I was 10 years old. And that matters. Teachers used to tell me, math is not your thing. You need to be realistic, far below average, especially in the math. Should look at other career options. I'm 15, how are you 30 years old and telling me this, right? What I did not realize is that my passion, my love, my obsession for my craft would be the sole reason as to how I made it up here today. And the reason for my future success. My journey has been challenged, yet proved steadfast because of my love and purpose for what I do. The man you see before you today almost never existed. I was in combat with myself and who I stood for and what I was in high school. I was trying to fit in, hiding my passion, that same love that kept me up at night. That 11-month-old that it was inspired by flight, yet wanted to hide it to fit in with the cool kids. I was living a life of two lies, a man of two lives. I had been told my whole life that I was average. The result of my efforts had come up short in aviation, in athletics. I didn't make all the teams in aviation and cadets. I didn't even get the Power Pilot Scholarship until the last year. Never got an aviation camp my whole life. But what I examined was a common trait in the people around me. If you choose to learn about the people around you in their actions and what they do, you'll learn a lot about yourself as well. What I saw is that if you were committed to a certain kind of lifestyle, that is what you would become. If you were committed to blending in, you'd stay hidden. If you were committed to be great, you'd be an example of excellence. My grandfather, he was the greatest example of this. And he lived a life that inspired me to chase after those dreams. And implicitly, his life taught me a lesson. The mind, the brain, it evolves not based off of time, but based off of experience, how open we are. See, the wisdom of the mind is immortal. We as humans are incapable of thinking of a thought that we know to be true and removing it from our head. So those dreams, those aspirations that all of us had as kids, or even today, for ourselves, for others, that we know to be true, they will haunt us forever. So you can either act on it or let them continue to haunt you. And this brings me to my turn back moment, as so the great Steve Harvey would say. I call this section of my life when the lights are off. I can guarantee you, you back yourself into a corner, put your back against the wall, that is where you will see what you're made of. It's in those moments where it's fight or fight. There is no flight. My dream was on the line in high school. I know at 15 years old, right? They say you have plenty of time. Until that day where the world stood still in 2020, just after March break. As many of us know, the disease of COVID-19 reaped rampant around the world. And I remember playing video games, as most of us were, in my basement, 4 a.m. And I had that turn back moment. That moment when I realized, what am I doing with my life? What is it that I have today that is a representation of what I stand for, what inspires me, and the dreams and potential that I know that I have? And I sat there almost in sadness and pity and realized that I had nothing to show for it. Unfortunately for me, I was prepared to do something about it. A degree that has no experience is simply just a piece of paper. It is the combination of your degree, your education, with your experience, you utilizing that degree, that creates value out of your education. And that's, in that moment, what I realized I needed to pursue. Value. Need to create more value in my life. What was I doing when the lights are off and the stage is not lit? So in this moment, I strived for what I knew I deserved. I wasn't ready to work a job 9 to 5 at McDonald's below my worth. I knew that aviation is where I wanted to be. Sacrifice is necessary, always. The monetary reward that you get in your jobs is simply a note to your value. I worked volunteer at Oshawa Airport for 6 months before I even got a paycheck. Not because I didn't deserve it, but yet because I had to understand what is the value in this for me. The value of learning how to operate aircraft, how to talk to clients. I moved from there, came to the University of Waterloo, and became a teaching assistant for a university course. In addition to that, despite the program coordinators at the University of Waterloo telling me that I could not do it, I went and worked a 9 to 5 job at Chartwright Air Group, which was in Toronto and I was in Waterloo. But yet, see, I understood the value in that. Although the commute was 2 hours, I understood the value in working in corporate aircraft, getting to where I needed to be, and understanding that there was lessons in all the people that I was going to meet. And today, those experiences that create value in my life make me who I am, not because of what they taught me about others, but what they taught me about myself and what I was prepared to do when the lights are off. The point is, never settle for something less than your belief. Your belief is strong, you are capable, and your will be questioned. But if you have purpose, you will be able to find a way to see it through. And when the stage lights are not present, others doubt your capabilities and question your ability to bring your dreams to fruition. Walk with authority, confidence, your head held high. Because without this mentality, you might miss an opportunity to escape the normality of societal constraints. The hunger for these opportunities that I'm talking to you about developed my mindset. It made me want to pursue further, want to do more, build my resume, develop a stronger mind. I wanted to pursue opportunities in aviation and beyond, get in physical shape. I even created my own business and personal training business in COVID. In fact, one of our clients is here in the back, Tom. Tom, how's that 5K treating you? To bring up a little story here, Tom came to me right after one of his car accidents. And, I was young in personal training. All I had known is how I developed my own body and my performance. And we took Tom from barely being able to run 100 meters to completing a 5K without stopping. And that's not because of me. Understand this, that is not because of me. That is because of his will to persist. What we have to realize is that the world is not going to reward you for persistence. In fact, it never will. But the universe does. See, the world rewards you in being dominant of area of human endeavor, whether that be athletics, any kind of profession. The universe rewards you within the process when you persist so that you may become dominant. And to understand this, we must accept that the mind is only as complex as the soul makes it to be. For the intentions, attitudes, and habits of one's mind directs the soul into battle, where our minds can either be an asset or a liability. Within the pursuit of perfection in my craft, it has led me to think about arrogance as a consequence of inexperience. I ask you to believe in your quest. Do you believe in what you're doing? Or are you acting as if a robot? We have life. Use it, act on it, find purpose in what you do. Those who believe in this will realize that it's not about perfection. It's about persistence, truly. And if you create this environment where you have an open mind, you will reap the benefits from losses and victories. And more importantly, the plateaus. No one ever talks about that. The times where it's a flat line, where you're not moving forward or back, you're just waiting for the time card to play. Trusting the process and being patient. So those that I mentioned before, those teachers, those people who wronged me, who I believed were incorrect about my aspirations and my potential within, and doubted me, I believe that they were misinformed. And I will not follow in their footsteps, despite their actions and their wrongdoings on me. Indeed, I will do the opposite. I will act with honor throughout this journey because it will decipher the emotions and the effect of my life on others. And in fact, it will be the sole factor of what all of us will reflect upon in our final moments. What kind of impact did you have on the life? I learned this very seriously in my car crash last year. As I heard the tires screech towards me, and I saw the truck coming towards me, and a flash of white light almost appeared in front of my face. I saw not all the medals, I saw not all the licenses, the certificates, the scholarships. I saw the faces of the people that I love, the people that mean the most to me, the people that make me who I am. And I realized in that moment that if the good Lord had decided that that was my day, I had lived my life to my fullest potential. After all, as I mentioned, the plaques, all of these certificates, the medals, it can't be taken with us when we pass. But what will be present is the beauty of this life. The life we've lived, the impact we've created, and those we leave behind. So I ask you, be an individual of your word. Thou shalt not preach and not practice. Tonight I want to leave you with a few things to think about. What is the power of persistence? Well, as I reflect upon this power, I ask myself, well, it has to be purpose. It has to be purpose, because any time that I've had any kind of mission, objective, and I've combated the obstacles in my path, I found purpose in what I'm doing. It is a look within for belief. It is controlling the mind for what it desires now, for what the soul aspires to achieve later. It requires sacrifice and accountability at the highest level, beyond your even imagination. And above all, strength, power, and the value of persistence is up to the individual in question. See, I think as persistence and purpose as almost like an insurance policy on your dreams. When everything goes south, if you find purpose in what you do, persistence will follow, because you'll be at nothing, no matter what the obstacle is, to get what you truly believe you deserve. See, persistence has power to not only change a dream, but develop it. Earlier, I told you at 6 years old, my dream was to be a pilot. Well, I stand before you today and tell you that that dream has changed and developed a little bit. My dream has developed into, if you ask me that question today, I'll tell you I want to change the world. And to many, I've gone last with that, and that means that I'm doing something right. So, let me leave you with this. We are one of many things of which we possess a set of unique experiences, pains, and purpose in our timeline. Our fear, reigning rampant, in running from what we worry we may never bring to fruition, and running towards what we desire most. In perpetual combat with the guilty pleasures of our mind, in which we seek instant gratification in substitute of stoicism and discovery. The purpose of which we are. And this will reveal the force of persistence, a trait as natural as breathing, and a process as inevitable as the crack of dawn. Ladies and gentlemen, if you still question, ponder, think about the power of persistence tonight, I leave you with this then. Ask the 6-year-old version of me what he wanted to be when he grew up. Thank you.
Thank you very much.